Hi all. In this chapter, I will continue with the use of pawns to create double attacks. In this position, it's black to play. Pause the video and see if you can find the best sequence for black. Notice that the d5 pawn would fork white's knight and bishop if it were allowed to get to d4. The only problem is the white knight on d4. This can easily be chased away by playing c5. After the knight moves, d4 forks the white pieces, and white cannot save both of them. This triangle of pieces is another formation or pattern you might like to keep in mind, because it arises quite often. I'll show you some more similar examples. Here's another triangle formation. This time, it's white to play. Notice that black's knight, bishop, and queen form a triangle. So white starts with f3. After the queen moves, white takes off the queens and then plays e4. The same ideas keep appearing again and again. I aim to reinforce these ideas through lots of examples so that you can recognize similar opportunities in your own games. Here's another triangle. Black's knight, rook, and pawn form the triangle. So black plays knight captures knight, so that after d6 recaptures, he can play d6 himself, and then fork black's pieces. What would you play here as white? Pause the video and take a minute to see how white would continue from here. White has a very strong move, which is queen e7 check, and black's king is seriously denied any decent squares. His only option is to capture the white knight. After this, g4 is crushing. Here it's white to play. The position looks quite equal. Both sides seem to be doing well, but white can build up an advantage from here. Can you see how? None of black's pieces are set up in the classic one square apart pattern or the triangle formation. So the next question would be to see if you can create one of those patterns. Notice that black's bishop has a limited range of motion. White's pieces guard all the squares that the bishop can go to, except for a5. Hence, white plays a3 to chase away the bishop to a5, after which b4 forks the bishop and knight. This is another similar position with the same motive. Black's bishop again is the target, so white plays b4 to chase away the bishop, after which white can play e5. This time it's black to play. Pause the video and see if you can find how black would continue from here. I found this position quite interesting. Again, it's all about reaching one of the classic patterns, either the one square apart pattern or the triangle. It is to be observed that white's queen can potentially be trapped. So black starts with g6. This kicks the queen to h4, its only square. After this, black plays the amazing bishop captures f4, check. This forces white's king to recapture, since now the queen sits on h4, so even that square is off the limit. And now we have arrived at the classic one square apart pattern. So white wastes no time in playing g5. Play would continue as follows. And obviously black is winning. In this position, it is black to move. Hope you came up with h5. A point to note in these positions involving trapped bishops is that it's important to keep an eye on your piece's mobility and also your opponent's piece's mobility. Knights and bishops particularly on the side of the board can potentially be trapped, so it's a good idea to be mindful of these things. Anyway, after h5 and bishop h3, g4, and white's pieces are forked. In this puzzle, it's white to play. You may find the solution quite simple now, after seeing so many examples, so I think I'll go straight into the solution. White first plays e4 to chase away the bishop, and then e5, forking black's queen and knight. Notice that in moves where the fork is 2 moves away, the first move needs to threaten a piece, otherwise the opponent gets time to avoid the fork. What can black play in this position? This is where you can use the pattern idea, recognize the pattern, and decide what exactly you need to do to get there. If white's king was moved to b2, the king and rook would be 1 square apart, ready to be forked by a pawn. Keeping this in mind, black plays knight captures b2. White's best response is to ignore the knight and play his own knight to a5. However, if he decides to take it, he loses the exchange. I will go through both variations. First, let's assume that white doesn't see the pawn fork coming, so he takes the knight on b2. Then follows queen c3 check, and white has to take black's queen, after which the fork finally works. After the king moves, black has a rook for a knight. Now let's go back and see what happens if white completely ignores knight captures b2 and instead plays knight a5. I'll quickly run through the moves that would follow. Even in this variation, white goes down a pawn. Have a look at this position. It's black to play. White's queen and rook are already set up for being forked on e2, but since e2 is 2 moves away, we need to pay attention to detail. After e3, white can play rook e1, and the fork looks like it's dissolved. However, if you notice, we've reached the triangle formation. Black simply takes on d2, this time forking white's rook and bishop. After this sequence, white has no compensation for his lost piece.